Senate's in a quorum call.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call be lifted.
Without objection.
Mr. President, on October 23rd, a genocidal militia called the Rapid Support Forces, also known as the RSF, entered the city of El Fasher in the Darfur region of Sudan. Countless reports describe how they murdered men and boys and raped women and girls. Credible reports indicated that RSF fighters entered a maternity hospital and slaughtered 460 people, doctors, nurses, patients, and their loved ones. They turned the city into a killing field, going house to house, rounding up people to torture and murder because of their ethnicity. RSF forces entered a shelter for displaced people near Al Fasher University and raped at least 25 women at gunpoint. Over 100,000 survivors have fled the city, making it out, trying to take the roads, but the RSF has targeted those who try to escape. The massacre has been so brutal and so bloody, we can see it from space. The Yale Humanitarian Research Lab has flagged satellite photos that appear to show incidents of mass killings with dozens of unarmed people lying dead and sand stained with blood. In late October, the same Yale lab was told that more than 10,000 people were killed in 3 days. Human rights groups also report that hundreds of unaccompanied children, some carrying babies, have fled El Fasher to other Sudanese towns seeking to escape the violence. Mr. President, sadly, we've seen this story before because the RSF have a horrible history and lineage. They are part of what is known as the Janjaweed militias, who committed genocide in Darfur 20 years ago. And they want to continue the Janjaweed's genocidal mission of eliminating other ethnic groups. I do want to salute the journalists and human rights analysts who are working to expose these terrible truths. But it's up to us as to what we do with that truth. And the truth is, this could have been prevented. We had warning, and we could have done more to stop it, and we can still do more now to stop the ongoing genocide. El Fasher was under siege for 18 months. The civil war in Sudan has been raging for 2.5 years. More than 150,000 people have died, and approximately 14 million have been displaced in Sudan, marking the largest and fastest displacement crisis in the world. Earlier this year, at the beginning of his administration, Donald Trump gutted USAID and suddenly cut off our humanitarian aid to Sudan. More than 1,000 soup kitchens closed overnight. While others have stepped up, the vacuum left by AID's departure means that even more innocent people are dying. And even as we cut humanitarian aid for the victims of genocide, we have not effectively used our leverage and influence to end the war. Because throughout this conflict, we, the United States, have continued to send weapons to the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, who we know are arming the murderous RSF. Report after report from the United Nations, human rights organizations, and journalists have provided evidence that the UAE is doing this. In fact, Mr. President, in January of this year, the Biden administration confirmed to me directly that the UAE was providing material support to the RSF, even though the UAE had assured the United States that it wasn't and that it wouldn't. So this is not a question for debate. And in fact, if the UAE is not supplying the RSF with weapons, then they should have no concerns about this legislation. And around the same time that I heard from the Biden administration about the UAE supplying the RSF, the U.S. government concluded what is clear from plain sight, that the RSF and their allied militias are committing genocide in Darfur. According to the State Department's assessment, and I quote, "The RSF and allied militias have systematically murdered men and boys, even infants, on an ethnic basis, and deliberately targeted women and girls from certain ethnic groups for rape and other forms of brutal sexual violence. The same militias have targeted fleeing